Mike's, yeah. I was watching your session, Hasra, on, is it Thursday?
Yes, Thursday, yes.
Yeah, sorry, I thought you were going to pretend that your mic wasn't on there.
the almost TPK this week.
Well, I came into a really interesting discussion because something had dimension doored, and somebody was saying, but I speak goblin, so I heard it, or something like that. They would
just that, yeah.
That's where I came in. I was just thinking, I know a dimension door spell. That's like a miniature blink, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And it's like, you heard of it, you didn't understand what the hell it was.
Yeah.
you have no arcana.
Yeah. But I speak goblin. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
That was so close to us all wiping that night. That was scary.
Well, I didn't see it right to the end, but
well, put it this way. One of the guys cast oh gosh, what's it called? Resident, whatever anyway. But it's 3d8, and he rolled 1, 1, 1.
No.
I shouted Yahtzee.
There's so many people in that game, though. How is this?
8 of us.
8.
Well, 7 plus GM. Yeah.
It's just can I just say that when I used to play Dungeons and Dragons, well, I used to play Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Are you all just rolling dice now? But one of the things, I used to hate an odd number because of marching order. Because I really liked it. Because when we played Dungeons and Dragons, it was actually dungeons all the time. That's all.
Like 4 of you, so you got 2 at the front, 2 at the back.
Yeah.
Sometimes a cameo of dragon.
Yeah.
Now we can do a pyramid. You see, we got the 1 at the front.
Yeah, the magic user always had to be in the middle, because in my day,
it's not that I'm right at the very, 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 very back.
Well, in my day, we didn't have cantrips. A first level magic user had 1 spell.
Right, yes.
And once it was used, that was it.
That was it. Stabby, jabby.
And plus, everybody had different to hit tables. And so we had to do Thaco to hit arm class 0. So fighters had a better Thaco than magic users. So magic users just used to sit there for the majority of the they only had 1d4 hit points as well. So they didn't do very well. I loved playing them, but yeah.
I killed the big beast with a dagger because I went
with a dagger.
With a dagger, yeah. It's like a fluky,
That's in the first ever adventure. I don't think not any of you were playing, but Gulliver chucked a slingshot at a scorpion and hit the head for maximum damage and took it out, which it was.
Oh my life!
I know it was. No, it wasn't a slingshot. He actually kept it afterwards because it was his lucky pebble.
Lucky pebble.
Yeah.
Had no magic on it. I checked it at one point because he'd always tell that story about his magic rock, and I did Witch Sight once, and you're like, he has nothing magical on him.
I interpreted what you said as he chucked his physical slingshot at the head, because that's what I thought you said. He chucked it. I didn't. He used his slingshot.
He used his slingshot. Yeah. And he Gulliver.
That's why it's called sugar.
Yeah.
It's actually sugar.
And Gulliver used to carry around a cooking pot that he used to put on his head, if it went into combat. But he stopped doing that after a while. But I because he just thought, if anything's going to go wrong, it's going to hit my head. And so that was it. So yeah, anyway, welcome everyone. I don't know if anybody's here at the moment, but we are, and those are the important people. D&D that I used to had 6 people, which was a nice round number. I like 6. 4's good as well, before before you all complain or get.
What's wrong with 3?
9 should be the number of the counting.
Yeah. The thing is, then your video pictures are so small you can't actually figure out who's who. How do you cope?
I watched episode 1 of season 3 of Critical Role.
Oh yeah,
that just popped, and it's like how beautiful it looks, and then I look at mine and I'm like, they have no maps really, do they? It's just like literally just them.
Theatre of the mind.
Theatre of the mind, exactly.
Aren't they always all together physically as well?
Yeah,
exactly. That plays a role. I think.
Yeah. So it's just sort of like, I think they have one camera on the GM, so they can solo him, and then the other one's wide angle. On
which is why we've bought 2 tickets from America to the UK for Mr. Pickles.
Yeah. You are all going round to Hasra's house.
One night only.
You get to sleep with the dog and the parrot.
It's a butchie and a rabbit and a hamster and 20
Mr.
birds.
Pickles, there's not a lot of room for you, but you can sleep the boot of my car.
I'll go be Inwils' roommate for a little bit.
Every time Mr. Pickles is quiet, I keep looking over to make sure he's not talking. Is he actually talking?
It's like you see, sleep in the boot of my car with that bag of lime.
Yeah. What? Right, before we get any further, welcome everyone. Welcome. I think, is this episode 5 of this adventure? I think it is. I think it's Sleeping Errwood, episode 5. And the players...
The Inceptioning.
The characters have made their way to Errwood, or Errwood, and have made some interesting discoveries. But before I give you a brief synopsis about what's gone on before, I'll allow the players an opportunity to say who they are and who they are playing. And we start off with you, Mr. Pickles. Fingers crossed for your audio.
I am Mr. Pickles, and I might be a little choppy tonight, but that's okay. I play Bartleby Fumus, which is our team's theist. Interrupt me, of course, if I start turning into a robot. Our team's theist, who serves Amriel, the light moon goddess, and through her, he's able to perform a lot of miracles and help a lot of people with healing, protection, gives a lot of energy, removes fatigue. Something Bartleby hasn't done in a long time is his perseverance miracle, which allows people to commit to trudging across a desolate landscape or walking up a steep hill, doing hard labor for hours. But don't even. Do you guys, Kangaroo, I know what you're trying to do.
Sorry, Miss Prickles, have you been saying something? You're on mute. We can't hear you.
Ignore him, Mr. Pickles.
I'm gonna suppress that. Move on. Besides the miracles that Bartleby can do through his goddess, he also has a lot of professional skills that help the group from time to time. I think he might be our only person who is knowledgeable about bureaucracy, which is super helpful. Reading. And he's literate, but I'm pretty sure there's another member of the party who could be literate or should be. Bartleby also knows a lot about the monsters of the land, a lot of folklore knowledge, a lot of more practical history knowledge as well. He's our team's historian. He's generally well liked by the people of the town, except for the Thieves Guild, because he's always ruining their good time. He's a friend of the guards. He's a savior of the slums. And with that, I'm going to pass the microphone over to my arch enemy here, Captain Kangaroo.
Everybody, I'm Captain Kangaroo, apparently Mr. Pickles' arch enemy. Obviously, I'm not really good at motivating you to be, more of my enemy. Obviously, then you'd be Dr. Pickles or Professor Pickles or General Pickles, but no, you're just a guy named Pickles.
Just a pickle.
Just a pickle. I play Cyrus. Alias Cyrus is like if your high school quarterback was also super smart and very charismatic and good at using magic. That's obviously, and yeah, you're right. He has a short fuse. You're right. But he's a mage of the Order of the Phoenix, which is a fiery based combat centric order that focus all their magics on benefiting warfare and or their ability to drink more than other people. but he's right now trying to get past his drinking a little bit, because I feel like he got into a situation in which he was very uncomfortable, and maybe he can try to control himself. But we'll see, because it's all based on how well I can roll a willpower check. But from there, I'm going to pass the mic over to Medevac, who will not forget to turn his mute off.
Best intro ever. Thank you.
Want to pick on us?
Paul, I am Medevac, and I play Hasra Khan. He is a nomad. He's a fighter as such. He's a scout. He's a singer. No, he's not. But he does like to use a short spear and scimitar. He knows his way around the woods. He's very, very good when he's outdoors. He absolutely hates the cities. But over time, he's had to grow to accept them, just to be more helpful, I suppose, to the people that live in there, because he does bring them food. And he does go out of his way to help the people who are in trouble there. He's the group's go-to forager, tracker, hunter. He's also, unbeknownst to the group, I suppose, picked up a little talent where he can speak to this totem he's got around his neck, and it's not speaking as in vocally; it's more empathic. And he's learning at the moment to enhance that, or become more attuned to it, because he's not the best with magic. And to be quite honest, he has a passion that is, it is distrust of magic. And that's because very randomly through previous adventures, he was teleported here, there, everywhere. And Hasra did not know what this was. He's seen his witch doctors do things in the past, and he's been like, oh, it's amazing. But just to have it happen to you randomly, it scares a bejesus out of him. But luckily now he's learning things himself, so that's helping a lot. He is somebody who will be there to stand in front of a blade for you. He will 9 times out of 10 dive headlong without a thought of his own safety, which is why he has a passion of the selfish protector, because he has many a time stood in front of an arrow or a blade to save his fellow companions, which he does much love. He's grown to think that these companions as his family, because he's not seen his family for many years now. So he's adopted these into his tribe. They don't know it, but he does, and that's the most important thing. And with that, I shall pass on to Ulrich von Liechtenstein. Ulrich.
So the party have, because our numbers are slowly dwindling, we've put in, I've put in a character to replace Hengist, who used to be the frontline fighter, and his name's Ulrich. The party actually don't know much about him, apart from that he is ironclad and very good in a fight, and very reserved and peaceful and soft-spoken. And he's quite young as well. He's only sort of like coming late teens, early 20s or something like that. So he sort of like forms the 4th member of the group. So the party have been traveling from Lindo, where they actually live, down the coast to a place called Errwood. Errwood is a lumberjack, a lumber village. Their main production is with lumber, and they had a contract with Lindo to transport timber to Lindo, and Count Bastian, who's in charge of Lindo, is building his own flagship. He has visions of grandeur and wants to sail the 7 seas. Anyway, the party, Errwood's been very quiet for a period of time, and Count Bastian sent out some troops to see what was happening, or a small party, and they never came back. So knowing the party's prowess in unraveling mysteries, they were hired to head down to Errwood and see what was going on. They, on their way, or just before they left, they picked up a lady who wanted to go to Errwood as well because her husband had gone there in the prior, the party that had gone before and never returned. So the party travelled down to Errwood, and when they arrived, they found that Errwood, as the title of the camp adventure might suggest, was sleeping. The whole town seemed to be sleeping. They didn't seem to be in any harm. There was no rotten food or anything like that around, but there was a sleeping on where they looked like they had stopped. Bartleby actually, did you neutralize some magic?
Yeah, I used my dismiss magic.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not able to neutralize it. My goddess merely tells it to leave.
To leave, yeah, and managed
was that the bar?
Say again, sorry.
Was that the bar in the tavern?
Yes.
That, and I did that again in to the head of the village.
Correct.
He panicked and thought we were going to kill his wife.
Yeah, but the person in the bar was Bert, I think. And Bert showed you to this other place, and then he went home, and his home is just sort of like there with the purple cross on. The party, and do correct me, you actually spent the night outside the village when the lady and her servants and guards spent it on the first floor of the tavern. And it was when you were coming back in the next morning that you had started to go to the owner of the shipping company house first, I think, but then heard a scream from down at the southern side of the village. And that is the scene that we see before us. You ran down there and saw the lady stood outside a house, and the door was open, and there was a dead body inside, and that is what she was screaming at. And from this distance, you can safely say that it definitely looks like Bert. From what you can see at the present moment in time, my lady seems to be stepping away. She seems to be, this front bit here is like a porch, and she's sort of like stepping away, going backwards, looking very pale and very worried, and she sort of like has let out a scream, and she's pointing. And as you come down to the house, the first thing that you notice is that the door, originally you thought it was just open, but as you get closer, you can see it's smashed. It's definitely smashed. It's hanging off its hinges. It looks almost as if it's splintered. And you can see that there's a body inside. You assume it's Bert's. He is on his back, and there seems to be a lot of blood. And yeah, so Milady sort of like steps back here. Yeah, what do people want to do?
I want to rush into Bert, and I'd like to check him. And use well, I want to check him over to see how, either if he's still alive, and B, if not, how he died, because Bert was all right. He was very straight and detached last time we had him, met him. Sorry, but he was going home to rest, and he seemed very full of his faculties.
Okay, so Hasra's going to go into the house and check on Bert. What about Bartleby and Cyrus? What could be your? We'll decide what everybody's actions are first, and then we'll move people around. So yeah, Bartleby or Cyrus, what would you like to do?
For me, I'm going to activate my witch sight, so that way I can see if there's some sort of magical presence in all this.
So you're going to cast your spell of Witch Sight, and Bartleby, what's going to be your plan?
I'm following right behind Hasra to see, if he's still alive and if I can help, and also to help identify, cause of death with my healing skill if he's already dead.
Yeah. Okay then. So we'll put you people in. Cyrus, if you roll your folk magic and let's get your witch sight up and running. Oh, that's a good start to the adventure. Now, if you wish, and this, I don't know whether or not you know this, when you're spell casting, you can agree to take minutes rather than seconds. And if you take minutes, then the dice roll is reduced from standard to easy. So if you are willing to take minutes off over the casting, then it will succeed. If you want to take seconds over it, then it'll either not work or you'll need to use a point of luck.
I use minutes. I don't want you to luck this early because we just physically just started right now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give you any ammo.
That's cool.
And
so you busy casting your spell, and the other three, Ulrich's coming in with you. And the first thing that you notice, Hasra, you probably get there first because you were more in the front with Ulrich. The first thing that you notice is the blood.
Oh.
It looks like Bert has been viciously attacked. You notice that this is obviously the killing place, and you know this from beasts. You can see that there's blood splatters on the wall and a huge amount of blood. It looks like he's had his sort of like inners, his ripped out. And it's sort of like spread all over the place. Bartleby, you can roll your healing skill. What?
I'm not putting him back together.
We can save a finger.
It's like, I think he has a chest, guys. Let's put it into one and get some tape.
Well, one of these days, Bartleby will just be able to resurrect people, and then he'll be saying to you as you slowly slip into death, "Remember what you said to me."
I'll let you die just so that I can resurrect you, and then be like,
together.
He will be the human Viagra making us all riser.
Bartleby, you cast your healing gaze over him, and you think he's been attacked. They're not clean swipes or strokes across him. They're very ragged. You and Hasra compare notes. Hasra from your the wilderness side of it, and Bartleby from the medical injuries. And you both of you just roll your law nature, just in case you get a crit and I have to give you a little bit more information. I'm hoping not to.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's all right. So you both cross match everything, and looking around, you both come to the conclusion that he's been attacked by some kind of beast. Hasra, you think it's quite a large beast, maybe a large wolf, or something the size of maybe a bear, or a lion. Bartleby, you do notice that nothing's been taken. It doesn't look like he's been fed upon or anything like that. It looks like it was just... So you have a quick check and all the organs are there, spread around a bit, but definitely there. And he has a rather drained white look on his face, and his eyes are wide open, staring at the ceiling, and his mouth is in the position of a silent scream. And as you're both looking over him, sort of like coming to the conclusion, you do hear Ulrich, who's kneeling down at Bert's feet, whispering some kind of words and gesticulating over the body, as if it's some kind of ritual lay to rest. Cyrus, as you come closer, your witch sight it comes on, and you can see as you look forward, there's no magic in this room at all. The body is completely devoid of magic. It doesn't look like it's been attacked by a magical creatures. There's no residue of magic around this. The only thing that you pick up is the sense that Bartleby has a bit of magic on him, left, right, and center.
What about, is the lady still within
yeah, so she
eyesight?
Yeah, she's actually got her back. She's sort of like, she's not in this house, but she's got her back to that wall, and she's sort of like sobbing away at the moment.
I don't notice anything on her, right? Just verifying.
I just need to check something. No, there's something not right with her. She looks somewhat different from yesterday, and it seems you're not too sure whether or not you're picking up magical residue, or there's something there is something subtly different to her. And she sort of like sees you there, maybe catches your eye as you cast your glance in her direction, and she comes over to you, and she sort of like throws her arms around you and snuggles into your shoulder, and she seems to be weeping and saying things like, "Oh, Cyrus, it was awful. I saw the door open, and he was just there." And she sort of like looks up to you through tear-filled eyes and says, "Is he dead?"
I'll look her and like offer a hand of of condolences and everything, and look at her eye and said, "Obviously, but
oh no,
but it's not probably your fault. It's probably
my fault.
Maybe.
I don't. Oh,
did you leave the door open, or?
I was just out for a morning walk, and I saw the door splintered to bits.
Oh. Well, it could, there's crazy beasts out in the woods, things of that nature.
Crazy.
But how about this?
Crazy beasts, and and I was asleep in the tavern.
Yeah, where it's the safest because it's the largest building.
She sort of like looks at the door and looks at Bert, looks back at you, Cyrus, and says, "I don't think it was very safe for him."
Obviously, he rolled some bad dice, all right? But we were just in a tent, so like, if anything, we were the least safe. So you're welcome.
Please, Cyrus, don't leave me again. I know I can rely on you. You are my protector in this hideous place.
That does fit what's usually on my resume. So how about this? Stay in the tavern. We're gonna look into, maybe you can get my friend here to track down the beast and kind of figure this one out for you. All right?
Is it safe to go back to the tavern?
The building across the street?
Yes. And she sort of like looks around, sort of like glancing this way. She says, Could you come with me, Cyrus, just until I'm safely behind the door?
Yeah. I'll present a hand to directly guide her across to the building across the street.
Yeah, and she, as you sort of like hold out your hand, she sort of like picks it up and drapes it over her shoulder and wraps the other arm around your waist and says, "Please." Hasra sees this and he's just turned to drink.
I like that somehow Zoom is like trying to block it from existence.
Please take me back to safety.
It's a form of denial.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I'll walk her across. See if there's nothing wrong that happened to her helpers.
And you,
yeah.
Ulrich sort of like looks and sees you going, and Bartleby and Hasra. Go for it.
Can I just ask? As I drop my pen between. Oh, got it. There we go. Good catch. You say there's organs everywhere. Does this body look like it's just been literally just ripped apart rather than eaten?
Most definitely. It looks.
In which case, I will.
It looks like it looks as if it's some kind of beast.
It's just torn them apart.
It's almost like grabbed a big chunk of the midsection in its mouth, and then just sort of like shook it.
Yeah, but not eating it.
Yeah, no, and that's Bartleby's. That's what Bartleby's healing skill roll was. That it doesn't look like anything's missing. It's not as if the heart has been taken or anything like that.
No, so it's more an attack of aggression rather than need.
Yeah, you would have something. The only time you've seen fierce attacks like this in the
it's a cat with a mouse. Bring it into your house.
Yeah, as if something was just playing with it. And you do remember from your meeting with the Brotherhood that some time ago they mentioned about a big beast. Can you remember that?
Flashback scene.
I got attacked by a beast earlier in the tavern.
That's right. Wasn't there some big beast that was wandering around?
It's a monster. It almost ate my face off.
Where is that dog?
Speaking of which, have we seen that monster around while we've been walking in the morning, or the dog? I mean,
yeah, you notice that the tavern door as you passed it or as you came in was shut in any case, so it's probably still curled up by the fire or the embers. Cyrus can probably verify that once he's taken.
I'll sniff him out.
Yeah.
No, I do remember a report when I spoke to the Brotherhood, but I've not got it written down, sadly. 2 months ago, but wasn't there something about a report of a beast being spotted in certain areas?
Yeah. Hang on. Let me just. Has a subplot.
Oh, I've got a subplot.
Everybody has a subplot. The Brotherhood will also be concerned about something. There are some reports coming in from outlying chapters. Remember, chapters are the sort of like the different houses. there have been reports of a rather large beast roaming the countryside. The beast has not been seen, only what remains of its kills. Tracks have revealed that the beast would be about the size of a large bear or bigger, and the group is concerned that it has not been seen. Only tracks and its outcome. All members of the Brotherhood are being asked to be vigilant for possible sightings or links to the beast. Many consider it far from natural.
Just wonder if I'll put in the book. But yes, no, fantastic.
How many books do you have?
Well, I've got books full of books.
We are now on chapter 57.
Well, this one's full. Oh, you can't see it. That one's full.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's not doodling through the adventures.
May have done. You too.
So
yes. Anyway, yeah. So this thing has literally just torn him apart. No food requirements taken, just for pleasure or for sport or for whatever it needs. But it's actually broken into his house to do this.
Yeah,
which is very strange. But in the same breath, nobody else in the village, I'm assuming, has been hurt. We haven't checked, to be fair, but they're all asleep.
I think we should check Hasra, because there's only 2 people that I woke up through Amriel's guidance. I think it might be good for us to go and check and make sure people are still alive elsewhere before we start coming to conclusions.
Yeah, well,
I agree.
Ulrich is in the room with you, and he's just made his insight roll, which is quite spectacular since his insight's only 36, and actually looks around and he comments to you. He says, "This door has been broken inwards." And he sort of like points to where it's literally been shattered, coming in as if something quite heavy has barged its way in. He also points to one side and shows you that it looked like it was barred from the inside, but the force of taking the door off actually took the metal out of the door jamb. So it's literally something quite hefty, quite big, has actually just plowed its way through the door.
So, perhaps it's another Zugtuk.
Oh yes, I like that. So you mentioned
it's bigger than a bear, though.
It was a lot bigger. It wouldn't have been able to fit through this door, the Zugtuk.
No, that's fair. Probably not one of those then.
So you mentioned about checking.
Yeah, the master logger, or the head honcho guy that we had awoken earlier.
Okay, so Cyrus.
I think he was up here.
Yeah, he certainly is. I'll move you up. So Cyrus, you arrive back at the tavern, and you quickly realize that within the tavern, everything seems to be going according to plan. The dog's still coiled up by the fire. The servants have taken over, commandeered the kitchen area and is making up some kind of food for breakfast. The guards are sat at the table, and when you and Milady come in, they sort of like stand up and sort of like take a step towards you, and the lady says, no, do not. He is fine. He is just aiding me since I've had a terrible ordeal. Yes, Iris, what do you want to do with the sobbing woman?
I console her a little bit more. Why have you not been walking with your lady, escorting her safely across the town?
And she sort of like hears you say this and turns to them and said, "Yes, why were you not with me?" And they sort of like shuffle around a bit and said, we did not know you were out by yourself, my lady. You should have woken us. Woken you? Call yourself guards? The only protector I have in this place is Cyrus.
It's usually the case. It's usually the case.
Snuggle, snuggle.
Snuggle, snuggle. Lady, I need you to stay here with the protection of your very hastily hired guards.
I will deal with them. Believe me, Cyrus.
I have some work to do and a mystery to solve. I pat her on the back, do all the things I need to do, whisk her away. I'm going to try to whistle and get a hold of the dog.
So before you do anything, just make for me, please, a willpower check.
No.
I thought you were going to say a 3-door cabinet.
No.
Oh, I thought I didn't see it.
No!
Do you get to put points in at 99?
Did someone spill their ale or something and
yeah? So
what do I smell?
It's definitely you do tick it in your fumble. Because you will gain an extra point there, and you sort of go to leave or towards the dog, and my lady turns around and she says, "No, Cyrus, do not leave me, do not leave me." And her influence is such in your willpower weak that you succumb to her desire for you to be her protector. And you take her over and sit her down at a table. And you do notice, however, that at that the dog comes over and it doesn't sit next to Milady. It sits next to you and does the classic with his head to get patted or to be get his ears tickled.
Got it. And that's fair. I'll kind of scratch the mutt. Is my willpower to the point to where I can't leave now? Or... Currently, okay.
Yeah, and don't forget to tick it. A fumble generally means you have no willpower for the next few. Yeah, go for it.
I'll probably follow at that point too with her.
Yeah, and the
suggestions and
the servants do bring out another plate and bowl, etc., and they seem to have made enough food for everyone, including you. So Bartleby and Hasra and Ulrich, you make your way. I think you wanted to go back to the town leader's place.
Master log, yes.
Yeah. Several things that you notice. Just roll a perception check, both of you. I'll roll one for Ulrich as well. His perception.
I want to mention that how impressive Mr. Pickle's chest hair has been grown in.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very impressive. Look at my rolls today. That's 2 skills of 36 that I've actually done. Bartleby is
macro check.
Yeah. Bartleby, would you like to use a pointed look, or are you leaving your...
No, I like to think that Bartleby is sort of looking around everything, kind of a little bewildered, trying to pick up on anything, and therefore pick up on really not anything important.
Okay, so the following pieces of information are probably shared with everybody through via either Ulrich or yourself, Hasra. First things, from what you can see on your journey, there are no more broken doors. That's the first thing that you see. All the doors are shut, but it seems like no broken doors. The other thing that you notice as you walk up to the head house is that there's no body around. Okay, and both of you
can I just, the way you phrase that, you mean no body.
No people.
No people around.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, and both of you sort of like know that this time in a village, everything would be busy working, but absolutely nothing. And you get to the head honcho's place. What's going to be your plan once you get to it?
Well, Bartleby had woken him up as such using the power of Amriel, if memory serves me. So he had his full faculties. So I'm hoping that if we get to the door, Hasra will just be his more forward self, just knock on the door.
Yeah. So you come up to the door and you give it a hearty knock, knock, knock. And there seems to be no noise from within.
Bartleby, my friend, I thought the master logger was awakened with his full faculties again, like unlike these sheep that are asleep.
Well, Hasra, there's a slight problem here, I think. I'm not 100% certain of this, but I think that the effects of whatever Amriel dismissed, they come back after a bit. You recall Bert last night, he became more confused and he's having a hard time remembering certain things as he was up longer. Amriel shows me that there's some sort of strange mist coming up from the ground or perhaps just accumulating around it. That seems to be infecting people. So I can give momentary relief.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So maybe the master log is in here, but asleep.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping. Unless waking these people up makes them a target for the beast that haunts this village.
This is my first thought when we saw poor Bert with his innards everywhere. Was you woke Bert up and then he died. So I thought,
Bartleby.
I know.
That's my first kill.
It is. It's something on your conscience, but I'm sure Amriel will lift that weight eventually. And can I just try the door handle?
Yeah, it doesn't appear to be locked or barred or anything. You can open it quite easily.
Bartleby, Ulrich, it's open. Shall we have a look inside? Maybe you
think we should.
Bartleby.
Okay, so you go in. Ulrich will stand guard at the door just to make sure, and both of you go in, and the room looks unchanged from when you saw it last. And you do notice that if you remember the little sort of like top part of the room of the map, that is the sleeping quarters, and you see the head of the town or the head of the business in bed, fast asleep, with his beautiful wife, or in separate beds, I think they had. And yeah, you can hear him happily snoring away. And then you suddenly realize it's her who is snoring, but they are both definitely fast asleep.
And alive.
Yes.
Alive, so importantly, yeah. Okay. Right. Hasra whispered to Bartleby, you see, maybe perhaps we should leave them as we know they're safe.
Well, we've confirmed that it's not being awoken necessarily that makes them a target. But something I've been wondering, Hasra, we're here to find the husband of that lady who's in love with our friend Cyrus, and we're here to find many other people, but I haven't seen any extra people or any corpses or any wagons or anything. Correct me if I'm wrong, God of the world.
It's true. I've noted, and Bert did not say anything about any newcomers to the inn when we questioned him the night before.
So now might be a good time to do a more thorough investigation of the village. It's light now, so you can look into houses, and it's also you've also got the time to do it. So it might be a good idea to go around the village houses, have a look inside them, etc. Hasra, if you want to go round the actual outside of the village, or I'm not.
Yeah, but my plan was to try and find any tracks of this potential beast.
Yeah.
And yeah. So that was the intention of, and yes, do a circumference of the village.
So, Hasra, you can roll a tracking skill roll as you go around the outside of the village. Yeah. Bartleby and Cyrus, the party comes back and it's agreed that they're going to survey the village, and Milady's quite happy to either accompany you or you can resist her charms and leave her at the inn. What would be your preferred?
Let's play it out a bit. So they come in saying, "We got nothing, buddy," and then
we need you to start doing your job, Cyrus.
You come in. You come in, and Cyrus has got his head on Milady's lap. It's like
not like a conversation we had earlier.
Yeah, and she's gently stroking his fiery hair.
I look up to the boys. What do you want? What? I'm obviously busy.
The creepy thing is that Hasra looks over and thinks that she's like wet nursing a child.
yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Cyrus, we could use your help here to figure out what's going on to get this resolved and help this lady find her husband.
Obviously, she's distraught. She just found a dead body, ripped apart, probably not her fault. And she obviously needs some sort of connection, some sort of human connection to calm her down. And obviously, I'm the most proficient human here.
At calming?
Well, at just being, fantastic. And
if you Cyrus, if you want,
what do you need my help with right now?
So Cyrus, just so you know, if you willingly want to stay, then you don't need to make any roll. Okay, so you'll just need to make a roll if you choose to try and leave her.
I want to see if I can break out of her seducing spell. Not that was an actual spell, but
Go for it then.
Call it, yeah. I want to see if I can get out of it.
It's fine, Cyrus. You stay here. Hasra and I can solve things.
Yeah.
There we go.
You sort of like look at her, and she almost like wants to somewhat compel you to leave, to stay, and then you notice that there's a sudden change in her demeanor, and she suddenly says, "You are needed elsewhere, Cyrus. You go. Your work is needed elsewhere. I will survive. I will survive here. Just go."
Mm-hmm. That fits. Yes, my lady. I won't disobey your orders. I give her a kiss on the hand, and then I go off gallivanting with my buddies. But this time I'm going to grab the dog that I was petting to follow us.
Yeah, the dog sees you going, and it looks like it needs to go out in any case, and promptly follows you out. So, Hasra, you're going to go around the outside. You're going to use tracking.
Yes.
Cyrus and Bartleby, is there any particular skill that you would like to use? If not, it will default onto your perception.
There's one thing I want to use, but it's not going to be from me. It's going to be from the dog. I'm going to have the dog, see if I can use the dog to help with it, catch a scent and help Hasra with his tracking of the beast. possible beast that we think might be a.
Okay.
Do you have one of the beast T-shirts that you can use?
We have, I don't know, like a whole like dead body from the beast. Maybe it might like pick up. Hey, this is a weird smell.
Nice.
Let's go at this.
Okay. So you're handing the dog over to Hasra, yeah?
Yeah.
Hasra, are you happy to take this dog with you?
It might sniff better than you. I know. That's very suggestive.
If the dog accepts me, then it can quite happily follow, but I'm not going to go out of my way to. Well, we'll see how the interaction with Hasra and the dog goes, because I'll be like more startled, because Cyrus knows my prowess in the wilderness, and surely a dog would be creating new tracks that I don't wish out there.
Yeah. Well, the dog seems to be. The dog is, quite frankly, is just excited to have people that are not sleeping. So he is quite happy to obey instructions or not. You know, if he sort of like sees you going off, Hasra, he's likely to come trotting after you. But at the same time, if you sort of like say no, he'll probably sit and go after somebody else. So it's up to you whether or not you take the dog or not.
No, I would feel uncomfortable, because I'd be more concerned about what the dog's doing than concentrate on what I would be doing. And so no, I like to do things alone.
Yeah, and you sort of like say, stay, like that, and the dog looks a little bit forlorn, and Ulrich sort of like goes like that, and the dog sort of like comes over and sort of like sits down by his leg. So Hasra, you're doing that. What about Bartleby and Cyrus? Are you just using your perception skills, or is there anything specifically you would like to notice when you, or look for when you're surveying the village?
I don't know if this will help, but Bartleby's first instinct is to try and apply his lore of monsters skill. Thinking of stories of where monsters might hide after they do a kill. I know a long time ago, Bartleby was obsessed with goblins in the ground, but maybe if I could apply that to my perception.
Okay, then. So you can augment it with that. And what about Cyrus? Are you using anything in particular?
Try to think of what I would be looking for outside of just tracks and maybe scratches and wood.
You can just default to your perception if you prefer.
Yeah, not going to be very helpful because obviously I've been distracted.
Yeah. Obviously. Cyrus's perception there, and Bartleby's perception, and then Hasra, your tracking skill.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so you can take minutes off it, so you know it's going to be easy. That look at it. That was 95 out of 90. That's, you would have thought that would be a default fine skill at the moment. Okay, then. So I'm going to give you. I assume what you do is you go around this and then you come back. But if there's any more information that you want, if in any of your bits, then stop me before I go on to the other people. Okay, so Bartleby and Cyrus will do yours together. As you go round, you probably go round separate parts of the village. Several things that you actually notice. Okay, so the first thing that you notice is that all the doors are closed. Okay, there seems to be no open doors, no shattered doors. A bit like the tavern door when you first arrived, that was closed. This is it, like it. You also notice by going in and out of certain houses that every single one appears to have its occupants sleeping, okay, in various places in the house. Not all of them are in bed. For example, you go in one and it looks like there's an elderly woman that's asleep in her chair. You notice that most of the children are actually in bed and asleep. You do find a couple of cats and another dog, but they are not asleep. Okay, and the other thing that you notice, and it suddenly dawns on you now as well, they are not ravenous.
I was going to say that's my next question, was the fact that they are not starving even though they're asleep, are they? So they've been looked after.
Yeah,
in a sense. Yes.
The people.
Yes.
Yeah. You do notice that if there was any candles in any area, then it looks like they've been lit for one night only, as if the previous night they were lit and they've burnt down a little way and then that's it. You do find in one of the houses, and it looks like it's almost like a stagecoach inn place, almost like a medieval hotel. And you do notice there that there are a group of people with Count Bastion's heraldry on their outfits. So it looks like that is the group of people. They are, like the rest of the town, asleep. Okay.
Those are the representatives from not Errwood, but from
Lindo. Yeah.
Lindo, yeah.
So the only other thing that you notice is that in places, not all the houses, it looks like a fire is just dying out, just with the embers, as if it was lit last night and burnt its way through, and it's just embers at the moment. But the interesting thing is, it looks like the grates were cleaned out before the fire was set. There's not a huge pile of wood in the hearth or anything like that. It looks like the grate is only has ashes from this fire in it. And the only other thing that you notice is everything is free from rot. Everything's quite neat and tidy. There's no decaying food or wine or anything like that.
Is there food placed out on tables or anything?
No.
Like as if they... Okay.
No. It all seems to be put away. I mean, if there was something in front of, say a man looks like he's asleep at the table, the plate and the tankard are still there, but they're totally clean. There's nothing in them. So they haven't been put away. They've just been put to one side. Is the Zoom meeting flickering?
Not for me.
It's just that
no, it's fine on
every now and again,
not for me.
I see it from OBS, like something looks like it flickers and catches my eye on my other monitor, so I'll just ignore it.
Maybe your monitor is haunted.
Yeah. Hasra, you look round the outside, and there are several things that you notice as well. The first thing is that there seems to be no tracks bigger than what you would expect. So this place isn't devoid of tracks, but you notice there's a fox track, maybe something like a badger. It doesn't seem to be going into the village. It seems to be skirting around the outside of the village. Nothing massive at all, just normal common garden rodents.
Wildlife.
Yeah. There is something else you do notice. Around the outside of the village, it looks like the wood has been cut back to provide almost like growing space. So if you think there's like the village stops and then there's a gap before the forest actually starts. But interestingly enough, roughly we'll say on the 4 points of the compass, just so we can relate to them, there seems to be one tree left. So there seems to be the village, and then in this gap before
it's just like this huge ring of space around the village, and then the forest going around it, and there's just one solitary tree just stood there.
So there's 4 trees in the cleared area.
Right. Are they north, south, east, west by any chance?
Yeah. We'll say there might not exactly be north, but we'll
they're at equal points.
Most definitely. And they are in that gap. So village stops, gap, trees, forest, and then in that gap there is a tree. The other thing that you do notice is that there's various tracks leading out into the forest. Okay, and you would assume that these are tracks that they've gone out into the forest to collect timber.
Yeah,
the majority of them seem to be less used, and there seems to be one that sort of like heads out to the west that seems to be the main one at the moment. They seem to not be cutting down the trees immediately outside this ring, and you figure that's probably quite normal because they want to keep the village protected from storms, etc., etc. There is something else. Could you roll for me a perception check? This one is a one-shot protection, and perception.
Perception. That sounds really.
And it's hard.
And it's not so hard.
Yeah.
Oh my giddy aunt!
Do you wish to use a point of luck?
Do it. Do it. Reroll that baby.
No, it's go on. Go.
Do it.
If he's not noticed it, he's not noticed it. But then, okay.
That's what luck is for.
And look, maybe as he's looking at these trees randomly placed.
Imagine that you're rolling those dice in your hands.
16.
16.
He won though.
Yeah. Let me get my dice.
See, I was right.
Hasra, do you have Discord open?
I do.
Okay, I'm going to send you a message.
Oh, thank you.
And Cyrus takes
27 points of damage to his head.
Missing all his
Not
vital
now it's
organs.
slightly deflated. The slightly deflated head now.
Okay, there you go.
Ooh, buddy.
So probably out of your peripheral vision, almost like peeping round, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. It's that little flicker as you turn, and there's nothing there. I have that all the time. It's paranoia.
Yeah.
Yes. I will. Is this one of the trees that's not randomly? One of the trees at one of the points in the middle of the.
Correct. Yeah.
I will then, in which case, head out that direction in a carefully while watching, thinking, did that really happen? And I'll push forward and leave it there for somebody else to jump in.
Yeah. So you, like I said in the chat, once you get there, nothing.
Yeah, nothing. I'd like to check for tracks.
Yeah, by all means.
Around there.
Roll your tracking skill. Nothing that would be revealed if that thing was there.
Yeah. But I do in a sense. I'd like to take a moment. I want to look all around, make sure I'm all alone here. And then I'd like to take a moment just to sit down, grab my totem, my tooth around my neck, and just gently
caress it.
Yeah. A fondle. Gently go into a trance or try to go into a trance just to see if I can get any information from him by maybe projecting more of a need of or a need and a worry about the people in this village.
So the first thing that I need to remind you about is that it will take at your level, it will take 1 hour to go into the trance. Okay.
I'm quite happy for that, which is why I looked around to make sure I'm not there. But I know 1 hour is a long time, and a fox couldn't even meet.
Should we, while we wait, get some like incense going? Maybe get some bongos or drums, kind of really getting the put some face paint on.
Get some tambourines out.
Get all in the mood, kind of getting like crazy. Pass a certain pipe around.
Okay then. So let's let's see whether or not after an hour you manage to slip into your trance.
Where is my skill?
It'll be on your spell.
It's professional skill, isn't it? Oh, spells, that's it.
Yeah.
I've never used a spell tab before, sorry. Trance, there we go. This is not going to work, but we'll try our best. No. Yeah. So I'm still. I will. Yeah, I'm sat there, and the most important thing is I'm trying.
Yeah, you are.
I'm new at this. This is complete.
You are.
My belief is not there 100%. I've had this thing in a tent with some old men.
And plenty of nice smelling.
Yes, nice smelling herbs.
Yeah.
And that's it. Now I'm out by a tree in the middle of nowhere, and I'm trying to focus, but nothing's
happening.
Nothing's happening, but I'm going to persevere for the full time that I would think it would take.
Cool. Yes. Okay then. So back in the village, while Hasra's trying to get into his trance, you two are probably finished your sweep of the village and heading back to the tavern. Is that what you both want to do, or something else?
Tavern, we probably at this point, as the two intellectuals of the group, we should probably let's try to figure out what we know so far and what kind of theories we can maybe hypothesize together.
Doesn't Cyrus have the same intelligence as Hasra?
It's all about how you perceive it.
Don't you two have the same literacy?
It's all about perception in that respect.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, he has pretty high perception.
He does.
I don't think we have the same literacy, by the way.
Yeah. Oh.
Mine's 42.
My ability to speak out loud is pretty high. It's
ability to speak out loud with a whole load of garbage. It's 142.
61. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and so you have oratory then, since you're so good at speaking.
Yeah, well, naturally, I'm a natural orator. It's not. It's a natural skill. It's not something.
How I imagine this is that Bartleby and Cyrus are sort of like walking back, and Cyrus is doing this thing that he keeps sort of like prompting questions that he has no answer too. And it's sort of like, as he's walking back with you, Bartleby, he says, so do you think it would be a beast? And Bartleby probably says, well, this is what I thought. So and Cyrus will say, yes, that's what I was thinking too.
That's what I was thinking.
You know, and he's just sort of like posing questions and letting Bartleby answer them. But feel free to chat to each other.
I was enjoying that. Go for it, yeah.
Okay, so what we know so far, and feel free to correct me on things you might have perceived in your lower perception abilities.
Ouch.
Everyone in this town is asleep, but everything seems to be as if, you know, they're all awake doing the things they're doing. Everything's clean, everything's left out, the food isn't spoiling over. You know, no sense of panic or anything. They all just look like they fell asleep doing what they thought they were doing. In that time, they looks like they've been asleep for what we would perceive about 2 months, but none of them seem malnourished, like they haven't been fed or drank in those 2 months. When you've looked at them, you've noticed a tendril like magic to them, that they're all connected into like a weird like dissipating fog. But we don't really know where that's going. What the one person, one out of two people that we've woken up that we saved, and correct me if I'm wrong, he died a horrible death. It looks like he was mauled to death by a man bear pig, and I don't know where to go from there. Why the hell would that person specifically was attacked at his house, blatantly, you know, to the point to where the creature smashed down the doorway to murder him.
Mr. Pickles, I sent you a message on Discord if you've got it open.
I saw.
Secret message.
You know, I just want to say, you know, everybody says you're always drinking, Cyrus, and not paying attention, but I mean, yeah, that's exactly what we found out. Just
bonding.
A little note. The mist wasn't actually in the houses, though. It was like a blanket was put over people in each house, but the mist is all outside. And I think a critical element that we need to ask is, why did the others from Lindo arrive and then fall asleep when we didn't?
Well, I think it was a spell that, if it's a spell or something that we're not understanding, it happened 2 months ago. And I think that was the test to see if when we stayed outside, we were the control group, while the other group stayed inside the town's perimeter and they didn't fall asleep, meaning that this isn't for anybody that goes here. This happened 2 months ago, and I don't know. I guess they haven't had any visitors in 2 months.
But they have. There have been multiple caravans from Lindo, and each time they pass out and never return. And this isn't like a
now.
Like
do they
standard
pass out,
spell.
or do they disappear? Do they disappear or they pass out?
Well, we saw a number of them in the stagecoach inn.
Yeah, there's only been Camp Bastion only sent one party before you, and those people are definitely in the stagecoach house. You know, that's that one group.
And do we know when they were sent? Like what time? When did they get here?
Yeah,
was it after the 2 months ago?
Yeah. So if you imagine, they were sent down once no message was heard from Errwood. They were sent down. And if you think about it, it's roughly the same amount of time for them to travel to here, sort something and travel back, that the Count then said, look, something's not going right here, and called you guys in.
So do you think the beast is connected?
I think so. I think
it's too much of a coincidence for it not to be connected, and it does seem to be. it focused on that poor individual after we woke him up. So obviously,
Yeah.
I don't know what the connection is, but we can make a few theories from there.
It's either using this curse on the town to take advantage of the situation, but it's not eating. So,
or maybe the curse on the town is to protect the citizens from the beast.
Not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea for your intelligence, that. Can I just say?
Good job, Cyrus.
My bad.
There's this light bulb that goes.
maybe with the amount of ego that's been stroked all day from the lady, he's just like, oh, now I'm
on a roll.
Nobel laureate.
Okay, yeah. It's coming up to past, so I want to just say the following thing before we go on to our break. So we'll say that at this point, Hasra, all this has taken that time, Hasra, for you to try to go into your trance, etc. Mm-hmm. And you're coming back to relate to the group. We'll probably say, if it's all right with everybody, that you exchange this information before you get back to the tavern. And you eventually arrive back at the tavern, and you notice when you get there, the two guards are on the outside of the door, and they look like they look like they've had a serious reprimand. And as you sort of like come through, despite your height, they actually flinch a little bit, as you come in. And you open the tavern door, and as you open it, my lady stands up suddenly from the table and knocks the chair backwards, and she looks at you and says, "Tell me you found my husband." And we'll quickly take our break at that point to see.
I keep forgetting he exists. So.
We'll see what you say and what happens once we get back. So, yeah. Can I just say, Hasra, I love that you're trying to go into your trance. I think it's so fantastic. And I've sent you a table.
You have? I've got it. Yes, thank you.
Just for future reference. So if you actually
one action, that is awesome.
Yeah. And then you can drag souls will take 1 hour.
Yeah.
If you saw that. Yeah. Okay then. So we're going to take a quick 10-minute break. We'll be back between 22 and 1:45 the hour. See if you can figure out what's happening in Sleeping Errwood before the party does. So we will be back in 10. See you real soon. Boom.
This is a Marvel podcast. Maybe we should.
Yeah, but you knew with Loki, you knew it was going to be like Loki.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about him.
There was things about Loki I enjoyed, for sure. And I think the guy's name's Richard Grant or whatever, that British actor.
Richard Grant, beautiful. Yeah. Original Loki outfit, that was fantastic.
I love that man.
That was like, oh my God, what an amazing thing to do. But what I also liked is the lady at the end credits scene of Black Widow was in Falcon Winter Soldier, the TV show, set up the whole evil version, and I love that because she's such a good character.
I just wish
the actress is phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
I just wish the goodies could just wear white and the baddies wear black, because sometimes
that way
I get confused.
There is no good and bad. There's grey.
Yeah. Okay. Captain, I was just saying to Mr. Pickles before you came back that our clocks go back an hour tonight.
So next week's gonna be weird.
Yeah, so next week, because I think yours go back on the 7th, on the Sunday. Yeah. So you'll have one. It'll be as if we're starting an hour earlier.
What time? What does that mean for us, Mr. Pickles? I don't want to put that hour earlier. So it'll be 10 a.m. for us.
Yeah, his hour earlier ends an hour earlier. And then later on in springtime, we get to start an hour later and end an hour later.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
But it's only for like a week or two.
Yeah.
Then Americans catch on, and
yeah. So
hey, you guys, we like what you're doing. We'll follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I must
slowly
admit,
follow.
Sorry about the tea.
My favorite period of the year is from tomorrow until the clocks go forward, and then I hate the rest of the year until now again, because it gets darker early. I like it. I think I'm turning into some kind of vampire. I'm sure of it. Okay then. So yeah, you've just arrived back at the tavern, and the lady has stood up, pushed a chair back, and said, "Have you found him?" Looking at you, Cyrus.
Unfortunately, we haven't. He is it's so difficult going through everything. You know, he might have got lost on the way back. Maybe he's not even here. Who knows? But if he's here, I promise I'll look just for him.
I mean, what does your husband look like? I think we might have.
Generic looking.
I'm not asking about your husband, Cyrus. I'm asking about her.
He is impeccably handsome, and he would be wearing the Count Bastion's herald, etc. He was working directly for him. Sorry, the other thing I was just about to ask, before you get to the tavern, Hasra, did you want to say anything about what you saw, or do you just want to leave it?
No, I will. I'm always fully open with these things because
you're gonna divulge this information.
Yeah, I thought you could do it before you arrive at the tavern, if that would be better. Yeah,
I would do. I'll be fully open with it, as I always am, because my main thing is that these two people that I'm with have far vast knowledge about these things than I do. And
you spoke like Ulrich's been with you for I feel accepted.
No, I don't include Ulrich, but yeah. No, I would. I know that Bartleby definitely I can pass information on, and he can give a positive feedback along with Cyrus too. Cyrus can put his own positive feed on things, and Ulrich again is somebody I don't know what he knows yet, but if I can spread the knowledge, maybe feedback. Hasra's not a selfish person. He likes to know what other people think.
Go for it then.
Very unlike Cyrus.
I went out to the woods and I found, or not even to the woods. I left the village, and I noticed that the village has a lovely perimeter where there are no trees, and they have a good killing area in case of defense. They can see anything coming, which is wonderful. But what unsettled me was there are 4 trees opposite each other. So there'd be one there, and at the opposite side there's another one there, and the same to the left and to the right. Which, why leave those 4 trees there in such a precise location like that? And what unsettled me a little bit, and I tried to maybe find out what it was, but out of the corner of my eye, I saw a lady or a figure. I think it was a lady next to one of the trees. But when I turned to look again, to track her, there was nothing there. I went to the tree where she was, or where the thing was, and there were no tracks, no nothing. So I spent some time there, just centering myself and trying to find out if I could find anything. But I thought you should all should know there's something more to this than meets the eye. But I don't think this is linked to this. I don't know, but it's very strange how all this has come. And why would there be 4 trees there? Why not just get rid of the trees in that section?
Well, Hasra, I think this might be a very, very interesting case. of, well, you've heard of stink goblins, yes?
What? Sorry.
I believe over the campfire you may have mentioned them.
Bartleby, are you drunk?
There are many goblins.
Have you been drinking the ale without me?
Silas, trust me. Bartleby knows all about goblins. If he was a book,
stink goblins.
He would be a book.
And they are the most interesting kind of goblin, in my opinion. They travel around in the woods and they turn into trees. And when you're not looking, they turn back into little goblins and do all sorts of diabolical things. They're very fond of scissors and like to cut off bad children's fingers and ears. It'd be bad if they were the case here. But
right. Now, Hasra, when's the last time you were in, like, say, the company of a woman? Maybe that's what maybe it's just your subconscious is like saying, hey, buddy, kind of lonely. That tree looks kind of sexy.
I was in the company of a woman this morning. She came screaming out of the house.
The company of a woman, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know what you mean. She was there with me. You went with her. You were with her company too.
Unless something happened really fast, I didn't see what I am talking about. You know what I'm saying? Huh? No? Okay.
Sorry. Are you talking about the mating?
Yes.
Sure. I have not met my soulmate yet. So no, I have not. No, I have not been in the company of woman for forever. Because
Hasra, you pure fool. I love you, buddy. I love you. But we need to work on that.
Ulrich.
When we get back, I will send you to my favorite whore.
No.
Take care of you, baby. It'll be a little thing.
Besides, my friend, with my people, we are like the animals. We made for life.
Like a good swan.
Like a good swan.
I've never been with a swan. If that's
what was that, a swan noise? That
was paddle.
I thought it was. I didn't know whether or not it was swan or turkey. I was a bit. Okay, so after that interaction, just to let you know, Ulrich probably says something like, "There are many stranger things in this land," you know, and sort of like sides with you, Bartleby, about unknown creatures. And then you arrive at the tavern and Milady says, "Have you found him?"
Who?
My husband.
The husband, Cyrus.
No, I haven't seen anyone who said they are your husband.
He is dead. I know he is dead.
And I'll approach her and console her back, rub the back. It's like, it's very possible, yeah.
No, leave me to my grief. Leave me.
But
Milady, Milady, if he was dead, there'd be a body. We have not found his body either.
It could have been devoured.
I just thought with all these sleeping people that maybe he was somewhere asleep, waiting to be woken by a kiss from my fair self.
We have not searched the whole village yet. We have looked at a few houses.
Bartleby and Cyrus have.
I'm sitting here wondering what. Feel like Hasra is smoking something weird in the woods, and Cyrus is here drunk, accusing me of being drunk. Bartleby is just going to blurt out now. We found a stagecoach with a lot of people from Lindo. I don't think you've provided us with any description of your husband, but perhaps we could all go look over there.
Sounds a little familiar, but
she sort of like perks up and says, "Oh, take me now to that place."
Thank you. Yeah, that last part kind of.
Thank you, Bartleby, as I step on his foot.
So you, I assume you're taking her to the place that you saw the people in the outfits from the Count, yeah?
Yeah, I don't see any reason not to.
Yeah. And so you take her to the inn or the like stage coach house or whatever, and she sort of like goes in, and you escort her up to the rooms and where you've seen these people, and she looks at one, and then she looks at the other, and then she looks at the final one, and she goes, "Oh, my beloved," and sort of like throws herself down onto this sleeping body, and sort of like puts her arms underneath him and sort of like lifts him up, and his head sort of like lolls back as he's sleeping, and she sort of like brings him close, and his head sort of like flops over her shoulders, and she sort of like says, "My beloved, my dear beloved," and she looks at you all and says, I think he's just but sleeping. I am sure I can wake him."
Yeah, fortunately, he seems to still be alive.
How tall is he compared to Cyrus?
Taller. Look, what kind of question is that?
I don't know. I just wanted to see if maybe she liked really short men.
No. Even small children are taller than Cyrus.
Come on, guys.
Oh, cat fight.
Yep, hold on.
Yeah. Go and deal with cat fight. You're coming with there's a cat with the scrub of its neck.
Yeah, it is a Saturday night after all.
One cat with a very small thing of like
busters. And he's sort of like the guy's about 6 foot, very tall, unlike Cyrus. But she seems to be pouring her tears over and on him. Let's just wait till he picks up his headphones. Are you sorted? Yeah, excellent.
Yes.
So yeah, her husband seems to be about 6 foot tall, and she sort of like drapes herself over him, and seems to be crying, and then you notice that she's sliding into the bed with him in order to be close to him, and she sort of like looks around.
Unconscious.
She sort of like looks around to you all and says, "Leave me, please. I am in my moment of happiness. I am with my beloved."
I could wake him up for you through the power of Amriel if you wish.
Yes, why don't we wake him up?
I am concerned because the last time you woke someone up, he was found butchered and eaten. It might be much better if you find the beast that is doing this before you wake up any other sleeping humans, especially my husband.
That is a fair point, but just technically, it was the first person I woke up was the one killed, because we woke up well, it doesn't matter.
What if we bathe him in like garlic and like,
I don't know what Cyrus
spices?
is on about tonight.
Cyrus.
I'm totally and utterly. I think I failed my insight roll.
Garlic and different spices, because we want to make sure he's really delicious for the beast.
I feel like you want him to die.
Yeah.
What? That's
and because you keep forgetting him, and you keep telling her that he's just dead somewhere and don't even look.
Yeah.
So it seems that she does seem generally concerned, and she doesn't seem to want to leave her husband, and she doesn't know about the other people that you woke up, by the way.
Yeah, that's why I cut myself off.
Yeah, so she is just talking to you in the way she knows, and she sort of like reinforces it and says, I do not want to find my husband. Is it not important that you find this beast?
It is important, and you've got a good point.
She sort of like looks at you, Hasra, and said, Wilderness man, surely you can track this hideous beast, and have you found the tracks?
No, my lady, even at the source of the first killing, there are no tracks.
She sort of like...
It's as if this thing appears and then just disappears without moving. It does its thing and goes.
And she says,
it's like Cyrus.
If only you had slept in the village last night instead of retreating to your wagon and oxen. Maybe you might have seen it and stopped it.
Well, to be fair, if we had slept in the village last night, we might be asleep now and not be able to stop anything. This is what you have to think. We left the village last night because we didn't know what was happening here. So,
but I am awake. My servants are awake.
Now we know that.
Yes, we did not know that last night. And would you rather have us awake now?
I would much rather that you find this beast, and then maybe
how do you know it's a beast and not a person with very long fingers?
That body, even remembering it, really upsets me. To actually make me relive that awful memory, I am so shocked. I am still trembling. When I close my eyes, I just see his body, his open eyes, his silent scream, and the blood. So much blood.
This is when I'll approach.
Oh no! You might have to
climb into bed.
You might have to give me some clues.
I'll embrace her like there, as I push her husband's like
sleeping body out
away.
The bed.
A nice big thud. There. It's okay.
Cyrus. Yeah, she seems to be and you. It'd be interesting how Cyrus takes this. She seems to be disinterested in you now that she's found her husband. You were definitely, Cyrus, maybe sloppy second.
Oh,
was it sloppy second or a nice rebound?
Well, yeah, but she's definitely ditching you.
That's fine. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
That is just grand.
Hasra looks at you and says, maybe one day I can give you lessons.
The lessons of love is fickle, my friend.
Sorry, I'm not used to practicing oxen.
She sort of like says, she sort of like turns you on. She says, Wilderness man, please find this beast and slaughter it with the same vigor that it killed that poor man. Mr. Bartleby, please do tell my guards and servants to come here. I think this is a stagecoach inn. There should be food and the ability to cook here. I will feel so much safer together with my husband here. Cyrus,
we can get your guards and servants.
Cyrus, it was good as it lasted, but now I must leave you and go back to my husband. No, do not try to resist. I know my beauty is such that it can seduce and beguile many men, but my love is solely for my husband.
I'll tell you and dump
I'll turn to everybody and just say, well, typically I last a little longer, but all right. All right, so...
That's all right. Molly said she put me up tonight.
All right, so here's the plan.
Yeah, so Bartleby, are you telling the servants and the guard to meet?
Yeah. I'll go over there and get them. It's their lady.
Yeah. Okay.
Needs the help.
So that happens. I'm just putting you in a random place in the middle of the map and asking what your next course of actions would be.
Well, Hasra's confused purely because he's found no track for this thing. He knows it's whatever's happened has killed somebody, and it's not for food. It's purely out of an aggressive action, be vengeance. Well, we don't know hatred. It could be hatred. Sorry, it could be vengeance. It could be anything because we don't know. We've dealt with people. Do you remember when we went to the crossroads and we had to help the logging company then? Was it the merchant company? The merchant guild, wasn't it?
Yeah, the merchants.
And it was
at the bridge. Yeah. Yes, and I was just thinking back to this, and it was the spirits of that area, of that sacred area that was protecting the bridge and destroying things. Would the same thing be happening here? Is it possible that these creatures could be the same sort of spiritual creatures? I tried to maybe to commune with them when I was out of the village, but nothing seemed to happen. But do you think it could be possible that these logging company here has maybe gone too deep in a certain direction, and there's something trying to stop them?
A lot. And Hasra, for once, I think you're onto something. That makes sense.
It's about 2:00 in the afternoon, so if you wanted to go for a jaunt in the forest, you've got enough time to venture in there and get back. Hasra, you have a good sense of time for being out in the wilderness. So if you wanted to go for a jaunt down one, I mentioned various tracks.
You did, yes. Yeah. There's one more traveled than others, if memory serves, to the west, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that's opposite the side that you came into Errwood.
Yes. Yeah. And thinking about this, Hasra will put the fact together that we've had no wood for 2 months, if memory serves me. So the logging tracks of being a logging town, as Hasra would know, it would be constantly people going every day in every location, just chopping down trees, planting, seeding, and so on, and repeating. But the fact that it's been 2 months to us, but 24 hours to them, why is this fresh track here going to the west, well trodden, when nobody's left the village for 2 months? And as far as Hasra's brain is working at the moment, because it's. But then again, how could they sleep for 2 months?
Well, something could be either through magical means or physical means, be taking care of the town and trying to maintain.
Well, exactly. Something is. It doesn't seem to be malicious, does it? Because if it was whatever is put them to sleep, wouldn't be caring for them at the same time.
It could also be parasitic in nature. If it's magic and magic. Like they're.
You mean like the dream thing?
Where you want to keep your host alive if feeding on them, so that way you don't run out, and so you maintain their health, so that way you maintain your health. Now I have obviously read too much into that because, I just get so busy, and it's no other reason why I wouldn't read into that.
I'm sure, Cyrus, you're busy looking after the milady while we were out looking after the important things in life. But we will talk about this again, Cyrus, and I am again, and I look at Cyrus and I say, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
All right. So two things we should do. I think we should follow Hasra together as a group because we'll have more likely chance of surviving. But we have to be back before nightfall because I think we should do a second plan. And the second plan is
the village.
Huh? Well, yeah, the village, right? But no, its second plan is the person that Bartleby woke up, the second person, which was I think
the log master, correct. Master logger.
Yeah,
we're going to have to watch over him tonight because we want to see if our theory is correct and there's a beast that's hunting down people who are waking up from this magical sleep, this magical coma, then it's going to attack the second person we woke up. But if that person's not attacked, then obviously that theory doesn't hold up. That makes sense?
Can I just do a flashback? How much interaction we had plenty of interaction with Bert. I remember that. But how much interaction did we have with the Master Logger?
Not as much.
No, it was very brief, wasn't it? Yeah.
He was quite worried that something was happening. If you remember that you were about to kidnap him or something like that.
Whereas Bert was
offered his wife to be taken instead of him.
Yeah.
Did he?
Like, okay, man. Oh, he was worried we were gonna kill her, but then he's like, just take her, don't hurt me.
Oh my God.
Oh, buddy.
Whereas Bert was a lot more open to, oh my God, what the hell has happened?
Yeah.
Wasn't
he? He was quite friendly. Is probably he was quite.
He's a barkeep, isn't he? So
yeah. Yeah, he was more forthcoming. You probably think, but probably lacked intelligence to probably figure out what was actually happening.
It makes me wonder, my friends, whether the bird who we awoken, maybe he could have told us something that we needed to know, but we just did not ask the right questions. Whereas the Master Logger, maybe, and he knew nothing. He was just part of the ensemble that fell asleep.
So maybe Bart knew more. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe Bert knew more. Bert.
It might be worth noting that the curse had different levels of difficulty, and what's his face? Bert was much less cursed than the Master Logger. I mean, Amriel's still able to solve the problem, but it was getting close there with the Logger, whereas the intensity was much higher with him.
We can play it that if you wish that you're having this discussion as you wander down.
Track. We stood around.
Yeah. So there's certain things that you notice as you go down the track. Okay, you suddenly notice up ahead that there appears to be a wagon. It has on the back of it has tree trunks. The horse, you notice, is just somewhere near. It looks like it's been unhitched from the front of the wagon, and so the wagon is sort of like down on an angle, and there's logs in the back. You also see that the driver is asleep. Very similar to the people in the town in Errwood. And you don't need to roll Bartleby, but if you just deduct a magic point, if you want to know what your witch sight shows.
I would.
Yeah, so it has the man has the same transparent blanket lying over him that you saw over the other people in Errwood. And then as you get further and further, in, you notice then that you see lumberjacks with their axes curled up almost like in a fetal position, and, asleep. Same transparent covering over them. And then you get to the point that you notice that the path, the track here, is probably wide enough for a horse and cart to turn round in. And you notice that there's, from this almost like large hub, there's little spokes of a wheel casting out in various directions. And they seem to go in a little way to the forest, and then it looks like they've been started to sort of like go in a bit and chop down the trees. So it's a bit like a tadpole. There's a line, or lollipop and things like that. And Hasra, you're familiar with this. So it's almost like if they took all the trees from one area, the soil would wash away and everything like that. And the interesting thing is you sort of like look down all of these little side spokes, and they all seem to be empty apart from one. And this goes in a little way, and then you notice that there are lumberjack there asleep. They're curled up, and Bartleby, you see the same transparent sheet over them with your witch sight, and they look quite peaceful. And you also note, which is quite strange, that they seem to have like a cloak draped over them, as if they've fallen to sleep and then somebody's covered them up, as if to protect them. And there's no way at all these people could have fallen to sleep and then pulled it up. It looks like they've fallen asleep and then somebody or some things covered them up, as if to keep them warm.
Which is, Hasra saying this will say, look, something is stopping them from working, but clearly protecting them at the same time. And these people seem well nourished. If I slept for that length of time with no food or water, I would die. So something or somebody is protecting these people, but stopping them from doing what they're doing at the same time. I do think that perhaps Bert may be just a random. After seeing this, he must be sort of a random thing that has happened, because why is this creature that killed Bert not killed the whole town if it was malicious?
Again, I think there might be connection with those who are asleep or in this coma, and those who are getting attacked by this apparent beast. I think those who are woken up are aimed at, or not aimed at, but like hunted down by this beast, essentially.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
I think you were going. I was just about to say the where you are at the moment with these sleeping lumberjacks. There is a very narrow trail going off into the woods. That looks maybe like one person has forced their way through. There's sort of like brambles around the place. So if anybody. This is when you all wish you were druids and could pass without trace.
Is it more of a well-traveled path by one person, or just a?
No, it doesn't look like it's. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's well-traveled at all, Hasra. It looks like it looks like that they've got this hub and they're going down these spokes, and this one seems the least. It looks like somebody sort of like pushed their way through about 50 meters in and then come back again. The others go to a little thing and then another hub, another circle when they've started to harvest.
I think we should continue on into the uncut down spoke.
I'd like
these lumberjacks.
I'd like to try this trail.
Yeah, let's try this trail really quick.
Well, if you want to wait here, well, no, maybe not.
No, I think we should go with you.
I want to try to go through this trail while we're making it as looking back and saying, just follow where I go.
Okay.
Follow what I go. Do what I do, and do not get snared up on these brambles, because they are so frustrating when they scratch your skin and tear your clothing.
Okay. So you, all four of you, sort of like head in. Probably you going first, Hasra.
I would go. I would try to brace the brambles to one side to make the passage a lot easier to traverse, if possible.
Okay then, and I need this. Okay then, willpower checks, please.
Willpower.
That's the one I've been chucking loads of points into that.
I have a crit. I don't know if you can see that, so do your best.
I would like to actually roll something.
I do not have a crit.
I do not have a crit. Actually, I'm going to use my first point of luck today to reverse that, though.
So that will succeed as a standard.
Yeah.
But they have it's a critical, so you still fail.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind then. Yeah. I thought because we're closer, but it's not.
Yeah. So you're sort of like walking along this pathway, and you suddenly get this feeling that you are immensely tired, and then without warning, hang on, I need to make Ulrich's. Sorry, wouldn't it be funny if he actually makes his willpower with a crit? This would be
like a 4 or something.
No. Nothing.
Yeah, he's sort of like you all sort of like get very tired, and the last thing you remember is literally falling to sleep. I just need to check something. Less than or equal to twice the so that would be 4. Yeah. Okay then. I was just checking to see whether or not your warding from your spell from your jaguar spirit would block the spell, but it's.
I thought you were checking how many months we fall asleep for.
Yeah, no, and it's equal to twice the spirit's intensity, and the intensity is 2, so it can block any spells that 4 or less in the magnitude. But this one, as we know, this spell is quite powerful because even Bartleby found it difficult, and you literally fall to sleep. You get this feeling that you're tired, and then the next thing you know is that you have a faint recollection that you see women's legs as you slowly fall into slumber.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not too sure how long you are asleep 4. But you awake in the gap. In the gap between the village and the forest. And
is it by one of the trees?
It's very close to one. Very close. Almost in like touching distance. And you're all sort of like sat around it or lie down around it. And you sort of like wake up slowly and sort of like looking around, being puzzled about what you, where you are and what's happening. You remember falling to sleep, but that's about it. Is there anything that you would like to say or do at this point?
Hasra, for one, once his gain his faculties, will he knew which direction he went out in, so he's going to look for tracks around the area. He'll eliminate the tracks of Cyrus, of Bartleby, and of Ulrich and himself, and see if he can pinpoint anything else that's out of place and different.
So just make your tracking roll for me.
Is it light out or is it dark?
It's dark.
Is the moon in the sky?
Yeah. And you, Bartleby, you've quite used to seeing the movement of the moon. You think it's about 10 o'clock at night. You've definitely missed a whole load of time. Hasra, as you look round the base of the tree, there are no tracks, not even your tracks. It's as if you appeared from nowhere. And can you see this tree that's in this one? Can you see that? Yeah. I'm just moving you to sort of like where you generally are round that tree. And it's you sort of like look at it and sort of like acknowledge each other. And the moon is full and you can see each other. And as you are looking at each other, something steps from inside the tree. It looks as if a leg comes out first and the other leg. It's as if the tree's like an illusion or something, and this person is just stepping out. And she steps out into sight of you all and steps in, and then almost like talks to you in a voice that's melodious. Is that a word? It sounds like a melody.
Melodic.
Yeah, and it's almost like sing-song, and behind it you can hear the rustling of leaves as an accompaniment to it. And she sort of like looks at you all and says, "We mean you no harm."
Then why did you kill Bert from the village?
We have killed no one. We look after them.
You know, I said that just out of curiosity to see what your answer would be, but I've seen, milady, that these people that have fallen under your wires are well tended to. I apologize.
There is no need to apologize.
Is the spell you're doing?
We are unfamiliar with the ways of you humans. Yes, we keep the town in sleep, soft, silent slumber, like we put you to sleep because you ventured too close.
Is that the only reason?
That
we intruded too much on your property.
You, as they did, journeyed too close to our sacred grove. We cannot allow you to, or anyone, to be there or to destroy it.
My lady, would it, if perhaps we explained to these people what they were doing?
They came with axes.
I understand it is their way of life. It is something they do for a living. They are expected to plant new trees as they remove the old, but sadly the growth is not as quick. But if perhaps we spoke to these people and said, do not go to that direction, and be more gentle with your would you be able to release them from your sleep spell, from this slumber?
We are puzzled. Do you have such a power over the people of this village?
I don't think they have a choice.
No, we've been sent here by a man who controls this area, and we have dealt with something similar to this before with a sacred place next to a crossroads that we
crossroads.
Yes, which we helped to maintain the balance there, and myself is I live to maintain the balance of nature with humanity and with creatures, with everything. It's my primary goal in life. And if I could. If I could do anything to help you, I will, to free these people from this slumber. I mean, my friend here, Bartleby, Mr. Bartleby, he's a wondrous person who can talk to people in the most beautiful way.
She's sort of like she looks at you all from person to person as she sort of like as you talk, Hasra, and she sort of like seems to be lingering her gaze on each of you. And then she says, I cannot grant you what you wish. You will need to present your discussion to our elder and let her decide.
May we have a second? Your, I don't know, naturist? I don't know.
A second.
Just give us some time for a sec. Can we discuss amongst ourselves?
What my eloquent friend is saying is we can just have a moment. We will come to speak to the elder, but we just want to have a moment to collect our thoughts together, if that is okay with you.
You are free to collect your thoughts.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, I'm going to turn to, in the kind of a hushed tone, talk to Bartleby. And
you'll need to move.
We huddling up?
Yeah. And just out of interest, this woman, she seems to be unfamiliar with social graces, and you sort of like all say, can we just have a moment? And she sort of like says, a moment. And you get this feeling that a moment for her could be anywhere between a second to a millennium. And Cyrus, when you sort of like go round to talk to Bartleby or to here, she doesn't move. Yeah. She seems to be completely unfamiliar about.
We'll just move a little bit further away from her then. we're like okay, you stay there.
Yeah.
Like we're bitchy preteen girls like trying to gossip about someone.
Yeah.
So what are the chances that we're going to be able to convince this town to not collect lumber in that direction?
Cyrus, we don't have to convince this town. We need to just speak to Count Bastian, as we did previously.
Yeah, but this, for now, this is, Lindo is the only, trade partner, but that might not be forever. So what Count Bastian says might not, he's not the Count of Errwood as well, right?
Yes, he is.
He is?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't sound as if, it doesn't sound to you all that she's saying stop all.
Yeah.
Just don't go this direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't go to our territory.
They're pushing too much to the grove.
Understandable. We didn't we didn't know you existed, and we can obviously. There's lots of other land.
And this is my argument. Is it's about the balance of you take from nature, but don't abuse nature, in a sense.
It's maintaining the balance.
It's maintaining the balance, exactly. And I also want to find out why Bert died and who killed Bert, and maybe this elder might know.
Maybe it was like a giant beast called Ernie.
It could be just a random bear coming in there, but a bear would then eat bits, not just kill.
So are you happy to go along with this woman to meet the elder?
I want Bartleby to say something to make sure his mic's not broken.
I'm worried that we're being tricked.
Just to let you know, if you did go, then the discussion would be done via skills rather than role play, if that makes sense. So it'd be using either influence or oratory or something similar to persuade them, or to convince them to do something else. It's
they have an elder. We have a Bartleby.
Yeah. And we're not afraid to use it.
Them. Yeah.
What is your influence, Bartleby, if you don't mind me asking?
4,372.
Well, within the church, I am very influential. They will often come to me and say,
in like real life, like, hey, not make believe.
He also has an oratory skill, which allows him to. He'll probably, because oratory is a professional skill, so he's likely to roll that and use his influence to augment that role. So Bartleby.
It'd be funny if I had a spell like this.
Yeah. That would be interesting.
My friends, I think to save this village,
you don't need to go anywhere. It's got a range of 91 meters. You could just shout.
Listen to me now.
Oh, you green bin, get over here.
You did take that, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I did. That is one of my. I took that so that I could wake people up during the church sermons.
Yeah.
But I'm concerned here that we're being tricked into walking into a trap. Because it's a common folklore fairy tale that spirits of the woods or goblins trick you into going somewhere more secluded, and then they just butcher you right up. They're chaotic. It's the power of nature. It's chaos. It's not necessarily firm deals, and you won't drown in an ocean.
Hasra will walk up to Bartleby and put just a hand on his shoulder and say, "Bartleby, my friend, these people, these forest dwellers have been keeping this village alive, and these lumberers here have been keeping them alive for what we can assume is months. Not just today, not just yesterday. They've been keeping them. They've protected them. They've kept them fed, nourished. They've kept them clean, for months from what this lady is saying, and it's purely to protect, from what she was saying again, their holy ground. How would you feel, my friend, if a church was encroaching on your church and Amniel's church, and you could not fight back? What would you do? Would you maybe stop them and maybe put them to sleep, or would you just lay down yourself and become nothing?
Well, I would call on the priests of Maroth to help assist us as they've always done. But I think you might be hearing what they want you to hear, Hasra.
Well, Bartleby, that would kind of make sense if it wasn't the fact that we just woke up from a coma that they put this in just hours ago. If they wanted to kill us and eat us or whatever you think there's
cut out our tongues and feast on our skulls, yeah,
they would have done that already.
And they wouldn't be talking to us at this point, would they?
Yeah, they wouldn't offer, a chance to make a deal. They would have just murdered us for.
That's 100% what goblins always do. They want to wake you up so that they can poke you with sticks and scissors.
My friend,
that's all part of their game. It's.
Did you see this lady? She's not a goblin. She's not like any goblin I've ever heard you describe.
I was talking about stink goblins earlier that turn into trees.
Bartleby, you can roll knowledge, law monsters.
Okay, let's get some knowledge in here. Oh, I thought that was going to be a 99.
Dryad or something.
Yeah, you, Bartleby, you know these as forest spirits and people who a breed of dryads, for another name, that protect the forests, and almost very similar to what Hasra is saying, almost like keep the balance. There are rumors that they have sacred groves, sacred places that they will protect at all costs, but anything that you remember, they're not seen as malicious or dangerous or even mischievous.
So it's either stink goblins or that. And the evidence is sort of leaning towards forest folk.
Like I said, my friend, this lady who spoke to us, she seems very genuine to me. She seems to have the same beliefs that I have. And you have known me for a long time, and you know that the forest is my home. Nature is my home. I suffer the cities for you because you are my family, and I do suffer the cities because, well, my fiddly, because I do not like being there. But out here, you need to maintain a delicate balance, and I think, like we had before, with the guild masters, we had to say no, you cannot build this place, this town here, because you will upset the balance of what is happening around here. Do you remember, Bartleby?
I do. I do. And you've got good points. I'm just going to be very upset if my tongue is cut out and my skull is feasted on.
If that happens, I would apologize.
That would be a major bummer.
I would apologize to you. I'd be like,
all sincerity and pure motivations aside, if they wanted us murdered, they probably would have done it hours ago.
Probably, yeah.
This might be our only way of success and/or my ability to look amazing in the eyes of my order.
That's very true. Let's talk no longer about killing people in front of these my concern is to maybe broker something which I'm not very good at, and Bartleby, you would be the perfect person to talk to this lady, or this person, this creature who we will go to see. But we need to find out what happened to Bert.
Yeah, so you agree to follow Idelle into she has a name, into the forest, and she takes you along the tracks. And the interesting thing that you see is as she walks, things move out the way to let her by, but as soon as she's gone by, so like branches sort of like snap back into place, or you're getting sort of like caught on brambles and things like that, and she sort of like moves very, very slowly and gracefully, and the forest seems to bend to her will, or is almost like being reverent, that's it, to her, as if she's not in charge but is respected. And as you get closer and closer to that narrow path, you become aware that in the forest, going from tree to tree, peering round, very interested in you, every now and again you see other females. Some of them giggle at you, some of them point at you, some of them come very close, then skitter away. And eventually you get to the end of the narrow path, and where you fell to sleep beforehand. And Adele says, we need you not to be able to be seen until we arrived at the grove. And at this point, almost like right next to you, more women step out from the trees, and each of them holds what appears to be a piece of cloth that seems to have moss on the inside and be woven together with fibrous roots and leaves, etc. And she says to you, you will need to be blindfolded, but do not worry, we will not let harm come to you at all.
I understand, my lady. Please proceed.
Hasra.
And they sort of like...
Bartleby, please, trust these ladies. And your tongue is safe in my hands.
And they sort of like put the blindfolds on it, and Bartleby, the lady puts her blindfold on you and then just whispers in your ear, you have nothing to fear. To that. And
that scares me more.
And
it's not reassuring.
You feel that you've hardly moved. There's no sort of like branches flicked into your face or anything, and you find yourself in a clearing that has a huge tree in the middle that seems to be both tall and broad as well, and it almost has a range of different green leaves. Some are incredibly dark emerald, others are almost like shimmering green, and just stood underneath it seems to be another one of these women. And the first thing you suddenly become aware is that there's more of these women stepping out into the clearing, and many of them bow and pay homage to the woman stood underneath the tree. And as you your blindfolds are off now, and as they bring you up to her, she sort of like nods at the people who accompany you, and turns around to you, Bartleby, and she says, welcome to our grove.
Bartleby says, "Oh, good cup of tongue."
Bartleby is a little stunned, but he'll try his best to bow and say, "I appreciate you allowing us into your sacred grove here."
You speak words of protection. We can release our magic on the village, but we need some sort of assurance that they will not come in this direction again.
Can I whisper in Bartleby's ear? Yeah.
If that's what you want to do at this moment in time, then go for it.
Maybe we can offer a
Hasra
treaty, but we're gonna have to get Count Bastian's approval on it. But you know, like if they relinquish the spell now, we're gonna, the townsfolk are not gonna listen to us. But if we get Count Bastian on our side on this one, then maybe we might have a chance.
You have a proposition.
Yeah, help me, Cyrus.
You smell terrible, by the
way. We hold sway with one of the leaders of the humans in this general region. We certainly can convince him not to allow Errwood to chop down trees in this direction anymore. We can guarantee your safety.
Are you using your spell?
Yeah, that'd probably be a quick Amriel, please guide my words.
Okay, so just roll your devotion, your exhort then.
This is actually a folk magic, the magic voice.
Yeah. Nice roll. Oh, look, if
people have to listen to me.
Yeah, she does seem to be attentive and listens to you, and she sort of like says, "But you will leave this place. We will release our beguiling spell, and they will start work once more into this direction."
It may help to not release them immediately, keep them safe and not chopping down your territory, so that we can travel to where the Count Bastian, the leader of the humans in this land, where we can convince him that it would be in everybody's best interest if Errwood was forced not to chop trees in this direction. If the Count tells them that they cannot chop, then they will not chop.
Okay, roll your oratory skill. You can augment. Which is higher, your influence or your oratory?
My influence by only 1 point.
Okay, so it's up to you. You can augment one with the other one. And let's have a roll.
Take my luck point.
Okay, well, that brings my influence up to a 67. Here goes everything.
Hey!
If it's a standard.
She looks at you and ponders you for some time and says, "We will release the spell if you promise to bring a message from your leader to stop lumberjacking in our area, but on one condition. One of you stays until the message returns."
We'll just slowly turn and stare at Hasra.
I would quite happily stay. Yeah, I'd quite happily stay. This is bliss to Hasra. This is. He's like,
I thought you and I would go back and leave Cyrus.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh!
Cyrus filled with beautiful women surrounding him in scantily clad mass.
Beautiful women made of wood. I bring you fire.
Oh, there will be some friction. There might be making some fire, but
no, I would quite happily stay as I'm not even call myself a hostage.
Okay, so yeah, and she sort of like accepts this and says, "We are aware of your brotherhood. It would be."
You Hasra will go, yeah, and take a breath sharply.
"We have worked with your brotherhood before. We respect their members. They, like us, wish to preserve the balance."
My lady, thank you. This is the first time I've heard of your kind, because I'm new to the brotherhood, but I embrace it with all my heart. and all I can do to protect the balance is to do my best and lay down my life for that cause.
You honor us with your work and possible sacrifice. And she looks up for 1 second and says, the moon is high. We can release our spell in the morning. But it is time for you to return to your village.
Yeah.
Have all your mics broke? No.
No. Just listen. But I do want to whisper one more thing to Bartleby's ear.
There's too much spit when you whisper in my ear.
Okay, you can whisper, but hey, no tongue. Okay.
hey, bud. Hey, guy. Hey, listen here.
You know my name.
I got something. I got something to say.
It's better to burn out than to fade away.
Ask about the mauled guy that we saved. Figure out, hey, is that something we should worry about, or maybe just ask about.
Okay, yeah. Just stop licking my ear. We accept your terms, and we will return with information on that.
You don't smell as bad as I thought.
I was wondering if you or any of the members of your Sacred Grove court would know of what threatened the village, what tore apart one of its members.
Roll your insight.
Insight. Ooh.
She looks puzzled, as if she is unfamiliar about what you are talking about. And she says, there are no beasts in this area that we knew of.
See, thank you for your knowledge on this. That's certainly something that concerns us as well. And hopefully next time we come here with knowledge that Count Bastian will not intrude on your space, maybe we'll have some more information on this beast that killed one of the members of our town.
Can I just ask a character question?
By all means.
So it's midnight-ish at the moment.
No, it's about 11 o'clock-ish.
Yeah. She can release a spell in the morning, which therefore the lumberjackers are going to start chopping down trees.
They will wake up in the morning,
yeah. But we need to get to, they need to get to Count Bastian and back before that happens.
And I think what she's assuming that you, Hasra, and maybe the lady's husband and the party might be able to convince them to cease production. I mean, even at that point, there are some logs that you've seen that would be able to be taken back, but not, not cut or cut in other directions.
Yeah.
Okay,
as long as they don't go in this direction.
Yeah. And she sort of like looks at you and sort of like says, "It is time for you to return." And they put the blindfolds back onto you, and just before you leave, Bartleby, she whispers something in your ear that is coming via Discord.
Everybody's whispering in my ear.
Here we go. The shave you're wearing.
You should probably trim what's all that hair. It's.
I feel like next, it's just gonna be Hasra that comes up, whispers in my ear. Have a good trip.
Yeah. Whisper, point. Whisper, point.
I got left out.
Don't eat yellow snow.
And you it seems as if you're moving quite quickly, and your feet don't seem to be moving at all. It seems to me that you're almost like magically being transported, and you arrive near that tree once more, and you sort of like come out and start heading towards the I'm just putting you on the map where you will come in. So you're coming in up at the top there. Can you see where Bartleby is?
Yeah.
Let me just move. Probably Ulrich. Well, you could be in any order you want. And as you move towards...
I'm not there, am I?
Yeah, you're here.
I thought I was staying behind.
No, you're staying
I think
in the village.
In the village, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, and you sort of like walk down towards the village. I know the time. I just want to get to this part to stop. And
no, you're good. You're good.
Bartleby, are you going to say anything or not?
I'm more bewildered trying to figure out which she was talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
But I will share with my friends that she whispered that I need not to use the spell and any evil you brought yourself. That's what she told me. I don't know any spells. I just simply call my goddess, and any evil I brought, I don't know what she could mean.
And just as you finish that sentence, you suddenly see through the crack in the trees. I'm just going to move you, Cyrus, just so position that you can actually see it as well. You notice that something lumbers into your sight and appears here. It seems to be a huge beast of some description, but what makes you stop in your tracks, it appears to have the lady's husband in its mouth. And as it sort of like turns around and sees you, it chomps down with a cracking noise of bones and flips its head from side to side, and my lady's husband gets sprayed in every direction. And we will start off.
And Cyrus does this. No.
And we will start the next adventure with rolling initiative.
Oh, hells yeah, buddy.
Oh my god.
This is good news for Cyrus.
This is like the dream sequence of Christoph.
Yeah, but yeah.
But we've been asleep the entire time.
Can I just say, you are not asleep. I'm just gonna. I don't want you all to do really heroic acts thinking that you're asleep.
No, I'll do that anyway. Oh god.
Trip a backflip onto her back. And
it looks like you found the beast.
Do you know what? Out of character.
Of burden.
It's her. It's gonna be her.
Yeah, duh. She obviously came here to kill her husbands for the insurance money, guys.
Insurance, but she's been draining everybody else on the way, and any weak-willed person will just quite happily fall into her bed.
We're just waiting for the comment to dawn on Simon.
No.
What Cyrus, he will see her completely nude and dead, and you're like,
what did
what happened to her?
what did the dryad say to you, Bartleby?
The dryad said to me,
The evil you brought with you.
Use the spell and any evil you brought yourself.
Yeah. Brought
so
with
I don't,
you, right?
The evil you brought with you needs not to use a spell or any.
No, I need not to use the spell.
You need
any evil you brought yourself.
Yeah.
Or you brought yourself.
That you brought yourself.
So you brought the lady, didn't you, really?
Well, been against her this entire time.
I
go back in the videos, watch. I've been paranoid of her. I don't trust her. Everybody's like, oh, Kristoff the Helper, he's evil. This creepy lady who has weird magic and everybody loves. No threat at all. Hey. Go back. Bartleby's been paranoid. I don't trust her.
Bartleby, she's hot. All right. Hot people are, think of Megan Fox in Jennifer's Body. Hot.
She certainly doesn't look.
I didn't watch that movie.
I didn't either, but she's hot, so you assume she's good.
She definitely does not look hot now. Definitely.
Was that a spoiler?
I don't.
I mean, we knew she was throwing people under the cart that are servants, and they're all weak. And they told us this happens and has happened several times before.
I wanted the Dryad to whisper in your ear and say, "You were right, Bartleby. We are stink goblins."
Chop, 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 chop.
My mortal enemies got me again.
You want to know?
I was thinking like fairies and fairy folklores. They're capricious things.
I have to. You obviously recognize who it is, but it's so easy that you thought it was her husband.
Yes. I did. I thought husband.
Oh, you thought the husband was
changed into like a beast?
Nah.
And did that, and she was just trying to get to him, and it's like that with that. But then the whole thing of people getting ill around her was maybe they're in cahoots. And after that last thing with the dream stalker thing, that was just
So do you think she has
Kristoff has made me paranoid like Bartleby.
He did nothing wrong though.
Shut up.
He did nothing wrong other than be like a one person we don't like went to his bar. That's what he did wrong.
That
was the entire basis of why we didn't trust him.
He didn't really attack you. That was a dream.
It was a dream.
Yeah, but our dreams are from our subconscious, and our subconscious is totally always right. So,
So maybe you were just thinking he was a threat.
I thought it was a threat all day long.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, I didn't know there was Freudian psychology in Lindo.
Of course, the dream stalker was feeding that, wasn't it? So,
it's sort of like limited about. It's limited to certain intelligences. That's what you have to accept. So. Okay.
You have a 13 and a lower intelligence. Everyone's bad unless they're good.
Exactly. I'm actually thinking of giving Bartleby a new passion that is called paranoia.
Yes.
But I don't think I actually need him to roll it. I can. He's just.
But he should be paranoid with a question mark because he's not quite sure.
He's not. Yeah, that's.
Paranoia.
Do I have paranoia?
Goblins, and then
There used to be a game called Paranoia.
There is a game called Paranoia, and there's actually
I have it on my shelf.
I love playing that game.
The computer is your friend.
And isn't it that you have sort of like replicas of yourself, so you can actually die, and then your second one comes into action? I really enjoy playing that game.
Yeah,
right.
You've got to complete reality out the window and just do what the computer says.
Yeah, it's a good game, that. Anyway, we will see what happens next week with the showdown. If everybody's available, then we'll probably play out the combat, because you know how long combats can certainly be, and then we can decide what's happening, and then we might finish a little bit earlier so it's at a cut-off point.
Do rolls.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'll figure out how much experience points you have, and then I can then I can give you that during the week. Okay, so you've got that. So this will be 5, 6, won't it? It'll be 6 sessions in total, I think. I'll check that because it's normally 2 per session. That's how much you get. So it'll either be 10 or 12 when I have a look. And the only reason I think the first session that we had, there was lots to do with not the adventure.
No, it was rolling, XP rolls.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
So
and a little bit of role play here and there.
Yeah.
A bit of role play, a bit of really heavy role playing that led more to more XP gain.
No. So hopefully we'll be back next week, please, and we'll see what happens with this wonderful battle that's going to go. Hasra's at the back. Look, that's.
Yeah, I've had one TPK almost this week. So.
Yeah, you'll be able to throw your spear from there.
To be fair, I went to the back because I thought I was still with the Dryads.
Yeah.
So yeah,
look,
so I would move in front of Bartleby.
Bartleby, you're virtually in the front.
I am a tank, so
something as Darth has said. It's taken me 2 hours to realize Mr. Pickles isn't doing the gun show.
Sorry.
I thought something looked odd.
Yeah.
So
He's broken the
more movement than usual from his camera.
Right. You can't be there, Hasra, because you wouldn't be able to see the monster. So we will see what happens next week, see how many TPKs we have, and well, my character will be fine, he'll survive no matter what. So we'll see what the rest of them do, so do come back to see the exciting finale. Please do remember that in the UK our clocks go back 1 hour tonight. About 2 o'clock they go back. So tomorrow morning I will be streaming Elder Scrolls Online at 2 o'clock GMT time, Greenwich Mean Time. So remember that, and I will see you all there. Darth said, thanks for the adventure, everyone. One hour extra hype. Yeah. Everybody should decide what they're going to do different with that 1 hour and not just sleep it. I hate doing that.
That's weird.
I want to do something, radical for the extra hour.
Usually when you went out clubbing, you'd stay out, you get an extra hour in the club. Now I'm too old for that, so I just sleep.
And then and this is.
I stay up later when my wife goes, do you know what time it is? Yep, it's an hour earlier than what you think.
I feel sorry for the people who work the night shift. Because they'll actually have to work an extra hour tonight, won't they?
For free.
I don't think they get paid for it.
Yep, for free.
So there you go. So right, thank you so much for coming along and sharing in our adventure with us. We hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, do come back next week for the final battle. I love it when an adventure finished with a big battle. I just hope that I've made
a big cliffhanger.
I just hope that I've made it tough enough that the first person doesn't kill it. I really want a good battle next week with some blood and maybe an arm ripped off. That's what I'm going for, just so people know. It's all right. Bartleby can stitch people back together now. So. Unless
what if it's my arm?
Yeah. Okay.
I'll put this back on.
We will see you all next time. Until then, take care. Stay safe. Stay healthy. But most importantly, stay positive. See you all later. Goodbye. Say goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. This video is sponsored by the Design Mechanism, the makers of Mythras. Mythras is a registered trademark of the Design Mechanism Inc., used with permission. All rights reserved.